And then the thing that I
Hi, I'm David with EV World News. We're talking about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And I'm back today on a Tuesday with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. How's it going, Bill?
hey, it's a weekend and the weather's not too bad right now.
It's weekend. It's Tuesday.
Well, we've had the weekend and well, hey, when you're retired, 7 days a week or the weekend.
Yeah, well,
I
that's all
can't
right.
tell which day I'm. What is today anyway?
Yeah, it's like Tuesday the 21st.
Okay,
Yesterday was 420, so everybody was stoned
right.
yesterday.
Well,
So,
that might explain it.
yeah.
I didn't. I've never done that particular substance.
Mhm.
I once got
Devil's
plastered on a
lettuce.
drink in Cabo San Lucas. That was an unpleasant experience I will never repeat again.
Yeah. All right. Tesla Robotaxi expansion, Dallas and Houston now live. Robotaxis are
Ooh,
now in 4 cities: Austin, San Francisco, Dallas, and
ooh,
Houston. Uh, Elon Musk projects dozens of major cities by the end of 26,
yeah,
covering between a quarter and half of the United States.
no. I'm very skeptical. He's just trying to ram the stock price up before their next shareholder meeting.
Which
Nah.
is tomorrow. Just tomorrow, okay?
Yeah,
Um, Morgan Stanley estimates the U.S. robotaxi market at $1 to $2 trillion annually.
possible.
And even at 25% penetration, revenues could hit 250 to 500 billion per year for Tesla. That's a lot of damn taxi rides. Wow.
I don't.
We live in a part of the country where people don't really take taxis.
No,
People
no. I
even
mean, you
take
have
Uber and Lyft. And,
Chicago, New York, San Francisco, places like that. Yeah.
yeah. Um, the expansion depends on regulatory approval, and Musk has historically been overly optimistic on timelines. Historically, been overly optimistic.
Overly
Yeah.
optimistic since about what, 2008?
Yeah. Let's just say he's not real good at estimating dates.
Well, he's good at manipulating his stock price. I mean, they eventually come through.
Mhm.
They put rockets and return them down. And they do come up with car models. Their truck apparently the latest is the semi is a considerable improvement over what was introduced earlier, although it was supposed to have been rolled out 5 years ago. But so they're making progress. But wow, are his estimates
Yeah.
often way off the mark?
Yeah.
So
They're terrible. You know, in some places, car ownership will no longer make sense. Well, if you live in a lot of big cities, especially like if you live in like Manhattan, would you even want to
oh
own a
god,
car?
yes,
Yeah, I mean, I would see some of that as just being terrible. Whereas as you get more rural, you have more and more need a
yeah.
for a car.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know what the median, what is this somebody's going to need to do a study on this. What is the population density? The ideal population density for robo-taxis to succeed versus, anything below that, you might as well just own your own car. So
I live in a cardboard box before I ever live in the city.
well, believe me, I understand that. Yes.
Yeah. When I go to where Omaha is considered to be sort of a big city, our metro has about 800,000 people. Okay. We're not all that big. And I'm comfortable if I go to like Dallas, but I don't really like going to Houston. Houston's like the fourth largest city in the United States.
Yeah.
And, um, New York, LA, I rarely ever go to Chicago, but man, I'm ready to get back. I really,
Yes.
I just start feeling claustrophobic, you
Yep.
know? in those places. It really is
Yeah,
just a weird
Omaha's
sensation.
a pretty nice town. I mean, it has its moments, but it's a pretty nice town to get around. I think we refer to it as the 20-minute city, although I think that's probably more 30 minutes now. But yeah, you can pretty well get from one side of the city to the other, in a 20, 30-minute time.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby, I'm currently shopping for a used Model Y with hardware 4, because I think that's the most likely ones that I could put it out on the road to work for me at night, and send my Model Y out into the world to, earn a living for
Earn
me.
a little living. Yeah, exactly. In
Yeah.
fact, I saw a AI slop video this morning. I turned it off, talking about where Tesla is and the numbers of robotaxis, cyber taxis that they're producing down in Austin and things. So yeah, they said you'll be able to buy one of those cars by the end of the year. What that means is I guess I could take out a loan and buy one and put it on the road and let it go earn income for me. Maybe, I don't know.
And then
Be
come pick
interesting.
you up whenever you need a ride.
And then whenever I need a ride, who needs my car now? I can
Yeah.
get rid of my. Well, I don't think so. Judy likes the Fiat too much.
Yeah. With that limited range, it's going to be hard for it to be on the road all the time.
Well, yeah, but this is her little run around town to Hobby Lobby and the whatever else she likes to do. I mean, so yeah. Hey, I got this weekend. We had the Bellevue Earth Day event, and
Mhm.
we had a cyber truck show up.
What
And I
color
got
was it?
to, what's that? Oh, it's just stainless
Just
steel. They
plain.
haven't they haven't yeah, stainless steel.
Mhm.
Belongs to a guy named Ron Haas, and he brought his two boys, and they got they were the predominant feature of the show. But what was interesting is he told me, he's showing me this. They've got the app, and the app just tells you everything about the car,
Mhm.
or the truck in this case. And he owns three Teslas,
Mhm.
the Cybertruck being one, I think a Model Y, and whatever else the other one was. Um, and he showed me, he says, you know what? He says, I drive this thing to Phoenix, but
Mhm.
I don't drive it to Phoenix. It drives me to Phoenix. I said, all the way down? All the way down. I don't touch the wheel. I said, oh, come on. He said, let me illustrate. I said, ask me to go somewhere. I said, we're in Bellevue, which is south of the Omaha area. And then I said, well, go to the ballpark, which is up middle of town. Go to the ballpark. And he says, okay. He says, so he gets in the truck after having raised it and lowered it to show me that function. He gets in the truck and he turns on whatever he has to turn on, and he talks to Grok. And he tells Grok, take me to the ballpark. But before you do that, take me to a Panera's and then find me a coffee shop, but not a Starbucks. And then Grok, bing, prints a map
Mhm.
of his route from Bellevue University to the ballpark downtown with stops at a Panera's and a not Starbucks coffee shop.
Yeah.
And he said, now, if I got in it, I wouldn't have to touch the wheel. It would drive me there, find a place to park, and I wouldn't ever have to touch the wheel. So I thought, okay, this is really interesting. That's my first experience with somebody that uses that function like that. He likes it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he is a former naval intelligence officer. So
Mhm.
anyway,
Nice. Nice. I like that. Um, I may go to Texas next week to meet with one of the largest apartment developers to talk about solar canopies and free
mhm.
level one charging for their tenants next week.
Hey, we should talk because I want to show you an idea I had for a bike park.
Hmm.
But the idea that I integrated into that were the solar panels,
Hmm.
and the solar panels track the sun. Okay.
Hmm.
And I got to thinking, I saw an ad on, I don't know, YouTube or something, not on YouTube, but on Facebook, that had that solar panel that parked over your car. And I thought, well, all I have to do is just take and integrate the system I developed for my bike share thing.
Mhm.
and put it on that, and it would track the sun. You could make some extra energy that way. But anyway, another story for another time.
Yeah. Well, these will all be done with bifacial panels. So,
Oh, well, sure, why not? Pick up the reflection off of, as long as it's not a black car, as long
yeah.
as it's a white car parked underneath, you get all that sun and it gets on the underside as well as the top side. Yeah, why
Mhm.
not?
Um, yeah. So it shouldn't be that hard to make the drive from Tucson to Phoenix if there's only one turn.
Oh yeah. Well, it took him. I think it said he took him 2 days to get there, and he. Oh, where'd you sleep? He said, "Oh, I slept in it. I've got I just lay the seats down, the canopy, and I've got a function where the vehicle will run and give me a nice, comfortable temperature at night." He said, "I just slept in it."
Nice. Nice.
Oh, anyway,
Yeah. Well, that seems pretty effective.
yeah,
Um, yeah. It's surprising when you talk to people, the difference between a Tesla and another brand's vehicles, some of the features they bake in,
right.
and sometimes it's just hard to
Hey,
comprehend.
you could not do that as far as I know. You won't be able to do that with an F-150 Lightning, right?
No,
And you can't do that with, at least at this point, with a Rivian.
no.
So I mean, I think they'll get there, but at this particular point in time, I have to admire what. Now I haven't ridden in the truck, right? He just told me that this
Yeah.
was so. At some point, maybe I'll just get to ride with him. And here, don't follow that route. Tell me where you're going to go and let it drive, and I'll sit there like this.
I used to
But
have
anyway,
the dark green and with gold accents Eddie Bauer vehicle from Ford, and
okay.
yeah, it did. A lot of people thought it was black. The green was
It
so
was
dark.
the really dark green, yeah, the forest
Yeah,
green, yeah.
yeah. I didn't intentionally buy that color, but I was trying to get an end of the year closeout, get a really good
Right.
deal, and this one had every option I wanted except the color. And I was just like, well,
Well,
I'm
what
good with
color would you have wanted?
I would have preferred white,
Okay.
honestly, just plain white. But um, the other thing, or black for that matter, but I had to have the towing package. I had to have the biggest engine. I had to have all the things for the boat I never bought,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
could tow it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, interesting. Lucid and Rivian are up, and everybody else is down. Wow.
yeah, go figure. So Tesla quarter 1 earnings are tomorrow. We could get a big surprise. Analysts expect a 33 cent earnings per share versus 27 cents last year, which would be 175% year over year growth, which I don't know that maths out. Revenue revenue projected at 21.4 billion. Prediction markets price a 66.5% miss probability, meaning a beat could trigger outsized stock gains. We'll see. Gross margin is a critical metric to watch. Tesla rebuilt automotive gross margins to 20.4% in Q4, but tariffs and elevated operating expenses remain pressures. Q1 deliveries had missed analysts, but sales were still up 6.6% year over year. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. It'd be interesting to see. And they're constantly, what was he talking about? He was talking about there's going to start being you know, no steering wheel robotaxis rolling off the production line this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've already, at least according to the video that I watched briefly, they're already doing that. They've already got some of them coming off. Although most of the ones they're displaying in the parking lot, I think they highlighted that they still have steering wheel. Apparently, because Tesla has not applied for, nor has the government approved having a vehicle without a steering wheel. So that's probably an obstacle that's going to have to be overcome.
All right, I got some Rivian, Lucid, and Slate news. Lucid secured $550 million from Saudi PIF,
Hmm.
plus $200 million from Uber with an agreement to buy with an agreement from Uber to buy 35,000 Gravity robotaxis. Like I always say, you don't really have to worry about Lucid going out of business because the
Well,
Saudis
as
aren't
long
going to
as
let that happen.
and yeah, and they've just got a little sort of a wake up call on how vulnerable they are. So that to
I
cut
just
off
hard to
oil and things
imagine
like
it
that.
can be so hostage to Iran.
Oh yeah, well that's that little narrow 20-mile gap.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
choke point.
Yeah. I somehow view that becoming some kind of demilitarized zone in the near future. I don't know if
Well,
that'll happen.
that would be nice, but I don't know how that's going to happen. The
I
from
don't
what
know.
from what I'm hearing is that um, what will probably result from this thing is an agreement that they're going to open the straits, but that they will be the Iranians, because of the damage that was done to their infrastructure, they'll be allowed to collect a toll of ships coming in and out. Now, whether that applies to all the vessels or whether that applies just to Iranian vessels from Karg Island and the various ports along the strait there, I don't know. We still aren't they supposed to be negotiating that today or something? Anyway,
Yeah, they constantly are. I mean, it just gets kind of weird. I just don't see. I mean, there's all these treaties for free navigation
oh
around
yeah,
the world. That would be the only place where that's not being honored.
yep. And if this, and obviously if you lit that stand where they can get by doing that, then every little choke point in the world will some belligerent nation will take and begin to to want to take advantage of that.
Well, look at Malaysia and Indonesia. I mean, ships have to pass through their waters to get to just about anywhere,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
I mean,
Straits of Malacca. Yeah.
yeah, there'd be all kinds of ways to cause issues with that. South Africa could start, not that a lot
Everything
of people
going
are on
around,
the Horn of
everything
Africa, but
around the yeah. Okay, well, they already have a toll. Obviously, I think it cost what is it's $1 million to go through for a large vessel capable of transiting the Panama Canal, which is not the super tankers. They can't; they're too big. But the vessels that can go through, I think they pay something like on the order of about $1 million to pass through the Panama Canal.
wow, I had no idea it was that much. But I guess it makes sense. That's a lot of infrastructure to maintain.
It's a lot of infrastructure to maintain, and the demand is there because of the dry seasons that we've had. They're not getting the rains that fill that reservoir lake
Hmm.
that feeds the locks,
Hmm.
so they aren't able to service the same number that they would have done 10, 20 years ago when there was more rain and available moisture to water to feed into the lock system.
Let's see. Lucid has appointed Silvio Napoli as its new CEO to accelerate growth, profitability, and manufacturing scale. He was previously the CEO of Schindler Holding AG, brings industrial expertise to lead the EV maker during a reset moment, includes $1 billion of new funding. He's racing to launch the new midsize Cosmos and Earth EVs to compete with the Model Y and the Ioniq 5. In RIVN news, the R2 midsize SUV delivery is expected this spring.
Oh.
Is a critical make or break moment for the company. I don't
And
know.
the factory was hit by a tornado last week.
The one in Texas or the one in
No, the
Illinois
one in Indiana.
or Indiana?
Or
It's
Illinois, sorry, the
it's in
Illinois factory.
it's in some normal place, right?
Yeah, in Normal, Illinois. Yeah, exactly. But I'm trying to. I think it was the part area that it hit was where they have their parts supply.
Hmm.
It didn't hit the assembly line building, but it did hit the part where they take and store and manage the logistics of the parts that go into making the vehicle. Uh, So they from what they were saying or what I've seen, they thought they could probably be back up and running this week. There were no injuries, nobody was hurt, thankfully.
Mhm.
But that bunch of storms that went through last week got them.
Hmm. Slate. We haven't talked about Slate in a while. Slate raised $650 million in a Series C round for its $25,000 bare bones electric pickup truck. Crank windows, no infotainment, convertible truck SUV.
I actually was at a meeting last week or week before last where the gentleman sitting at the table with me said,
Mhm.
I have an order in for a Slate. So I've actually met somebody here in Omaha that wants to buy one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a good little vehicle. I mean, I, when you go shopping for, say, a Ford pickup truck, a new one, you don't really see them advertising that they still make the single cab pickups. They make them.
Right?
You can get them, but they don't really advertise those because they don't make
I
enough money on them.
I have a story for you.
Hmm.
My grandparents living in southwest Iowa, as they
Hmm.
got older, what they had, their only vehicle, and I'm trying to think, it was probably an old Ford in
Hmm.
the 1950s vintage, with before they went boxy, with
Hmm.
had all sort of the more streamlining and curved, fenders and things like that. That was their vehicle. And I thought, I just saw an article where they are saying that the ideal vehicle for boomers, ta-da, is a two-door pickup truck. And I got, yeah, I could see that if I could get an electric, because there's times when I maybe want to haul some stuff in the back of it, but most of the time it's just my wife and I,
Yeah,
right? So
easy to climb in and well, especially the
easy to
slate be a little lower, so it'll be a little easier to climb in and out of.
easier to climb in and out. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that worked for my grandparents in the 1950s.
Hmm.
So probably worked for us boomers, that just by ourselves and don't have kids to haul around and things. So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if I'll be in a market for something like that anytime in the near future. Very happy with my Bolt, but yeah, that could fit. I could see that happening.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems like a reasonable idea. I always back in the '90s, those two door small pickup trucks. You had Nissan, Toyota, Ford.
Hmm. Yep.
They all made them.
Chevrolet S10.
Yeah, that's right. The S10. There was a whole bunch of them, and they were really popular. Well, I thought they were popular. So I,
Right.
I owned a security company in the '90s. We
Right.
used them. We bought them. Almost all the security companies ran them. It made a whole lot more sense than a car because you could sit up and you could see a little bit better. You could see
Right.
what was going on, and it was just kind of standard in the security industry that those were used for security vehicles. Nothing really got good gas mileage back then.
No, no.
But um, we did own escorts, Ford Escorts, and as well that they might have got 30 miles per gallon back then, which was considered to be amazing, but nothing like
Yeah.
what you can get now, where you can get a Prius that
Yeah,
gets 60 miles per gallon.
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's where the Slate would come in. They'll get
Yeah,
you that little tiny truck. It's all electric. Plenty of
yeah,
room if you want to
perfect.
throw some fertilizer and some peat moss in the back of the deck, or haul some bricks or things to do work, gardening around the house. Be perfect for that.
Yeah, in the security industry, even the ones I talked about before from Derrick Automotive, and they were doing the low speed electric pickup trucks.
Right.
That was absolutely ideal for that space because I'd have situations where I'd get a call from the police department that one of my guards, they'd pulled them over for going 90 or 100 miles per hour in one of our security vehicles. And I just like having a vehicle that caps out at 45 to 50 miles per hour would have
Yeah.
just
Nope.
been
Nope.
amazing. Would have just been amazing. Yeah, 'cause
Did
that was
he remain employed with you after that, or?
I don't remember the situation. We probably took them off a spot where they could drive.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the cops all knew us, and they would let us come fetch the vehicle, and they didn't take the guy to jail or anything like
Yeah.
that. So they were pretty good about that. It's good when you're in that space. You typically have a lot of friends in law
Yeah.
enforcement because you're cooperating with them all the time, trying to help them out.
Sure.
But
Which makes sense. Yeah.
and it's kind of the thing was you get a lot of young, what do you call them, military age guys, and they got a lot of testosterone. They want to go do whatever. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to kill that urge. I don't know why somebody want to go 100 miles per hour in a small pickup truck though, but they could do it.
Why not?
Anyways, all right. EV market reality check. New York Auto Show reveals industry struggles. EV sales fell to 6.5% of the U.S. market in Q1, the lowest since early 22 after the $7,500 federal tax credit expired in September last year. Kia, however, is launching a lower-priced EV3 in the U.S. later this year, and Subaru is unveiled a 7-seat getaway EV SUV. That's pretty big for Subaru to have a 7-seater.
Oh, yeah.
The Nissan CEO is pretty blunt. When you look at the EV market right now, there's no demand. The market has dropped substantially.
Yeah, they're reorganizing all their entire lineup. I think there's like 11 vehicles that they're going to be, terminating or adjusting where their emphasis and focus is.
Nissan's been kind of struggling in everything lately. So that it has nothing to do with EVs. I mean, they've just had issues. They keep not really having a lot of innovative vehicles is a problem too. Rising gas prices are sparking renewed EV interest, especially in California, where fuel costs are in the $7.50 range.
Yep.
Just some crazy stuff with way that's going. But it's not hurting EV sales worldwide. It's just the U.S.
No.
And as we keep saying, we've looked at the German model where this happened a couple of years ago, and they dropped all of the tax credits, and it took over a full year for things to heal up and EV sales to start accelerating again. So
like I was telling, we had some we did this Earth Day thing here, and we had representative EVs and things there and talking to people, and they were thinking about, and they bring up the same thing. Well, I'm concerned about the life of the battery. Don't worry about the life of the battery now. They'll last longer than your car. Well, what about the materials that go into them, and recycling? So, we have to explain that to everybody. But what I did say is, look, if you're interested, you're going to have over the next 3 years, 600,000 off-lease electric vehicles coming on the market. If you want a affordable EV, that's your best bet because the depreciation is pretty well washed off the vehicle. You've still got a battery that's going to have another 100,000, 200,000 miles on it. And it's cheap. You can probably pick it up. It's got maybe 25, 30,000 miles on it. And depending on what the lease was, obviously. And at that point, you can buy that thing for under generally $25,000. Some of them you can get down below $20,000. So yeah, that's if you're interested in that market, which I know you're looking for it. That's where I've bought mine. I posted Nikki Gordon. Oh God, I can't remember her name, but Nikki over at Transport Evolved. She's been around nearly as long as I've been. She looks a lot better though. She did a really good video on what to look for if you're interested in buying an off-lease electric vehicle. So you guys might want to go over to the website, and it's pretty near the top of the website. That'll link over to her video. But if you're looking to get in the market and buy an EV, take her suggestions and take those things into consideration when you're out shopping. So.
Yeah, wave of 2023 to 25 lease returns are flooding dealer lots, especially Tesla's Bolts and Ioniq 5s.
Yep.
Prices dropping significantly as supply exceeds demand. Many vehicles will strong still have strong battery health and warranties, making them bargains compared to new models. One of the things that's frustrating is some places have the recurrent score on them and some places don't. Start your own robotaxi fleet. Elon's giving away free money. Every car will make you $30,000. There you go.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on where you are,
Yeah.
Again, that population density question.
Yeah, like I was saying, I have kind of some specific wants in the car. I mean, one long range. The long ranges for 2023 are all-wheel drive. I want one under $30,000. I want one that has hardware 4. And so I'm probably going to end up waiting another month or so before I really find exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
They're out there, and I've been doing research that they're selling. What I'm wanting is they're selling in various places around the country, or they have been sold that fit my description. It's just,
Right.
It's rare. Some dealers, like our friends in Utah, are going to know that vehicle has hardware 4 and worth a little more because that year they had hardware 3 and hardware 4.
If it's that, in fact, that's one of Nikki's points. He says, if you're going to be looking for a dealer that is EV specific, because most car dealers haven't a clue. They may buy this thing thinking they're going to make some money. They got it at auction or something. They're going to make some money, but they don't know anything about the vehicle. That's with my Bolt. I ran into that, and I think I could have probably got a better deal if I had pressed a little more. But anyway, so you're going to do that. Look to guys like what's the name in Utah?
Alex Lawrence at EV Auto.
Yeah, look for
He's got
dealers
3 locations
like
now. He's got 2 locations in Utah and one in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think we actually have one down in Lincoln. I believe he specializes in EV.
Yeah, there's a Lincoln EV only dealer.
Right. Yeah. So that's who you want to be looking at because they will know what the vehicle is. They will be able to tell you what the health of the battery is and those kinds of issues that will be on your mind, So that's where I would go. Don't go down to your local used car dealer who has never had an experience with an EV, doesn't know where they are, and is really happy to move it and get it off his hands, So,
I know the guy that owns Internet Car Lot here in Omaha.
Okay.
And we've got 4 locations, but they are all what they call branded titles. They're all salvage titles, and they clean them all up and they sell them maybe a couple $1,000s cheaper than what they'd be otherwise. But I'm not sure how that affects battery warranties and stuff like that. To be fair, they have a lot of Teslas. They have a lot of Teslas that they've gotten somewhere and they fixed them back up and have them for sale. But I just, not real comfortable with that whole concept. But I mean, they get a lot of really nice cars. I've actually seen them. They even get Lamborghinis over there.
Yeah, I'm surprised how many of those cars are on Facebook Marketplace. There are all kinds of Teslas on Facebook. And the other thing that's interesting is there are all kinds of Honda Insights, the original, like mine, on there, selling for like $1,200. Now, who knows what kind of condition it's in, but
I often wonder with a lot of this stuff if people aren't just there's a lot of scams on used cars that aren't stuff like that. I mean, they're constant. You'll see these amazing deals, and I've never figured out what really if they're hoping you're just going to wire them the money for a car or something.
Exactly.
How that scam is supposed to work, but it's like, I've had people say, "Hey, we should buy this backhoe." And they'll send me a listing, and it's the same thing. It's like, oh, in that same picture, you can find it on 6 different lists around the country. That same picture, and it's really weird. All right, let me see what you had something you wanted to cover today. So what's the new Mercedes C-Class?
It's their latest. I'm not a salesman. I can't. Other than I saw a lot of stories. There are two two EVs that just dominated the feed over the weekend. That's the Mercedes C-Class, which is an electric, all electric, and also the Ionic 3, which is the newest model of the Hyundai electric series. What the deal is with that particular car? Supposedly, it's from what the reviews are, it's the best Mercedes, the electric that they've come up with so far. So I'm not in the market, so I don't look real closely at some of those. I apologize. I should know all those things, but I don't. Where are you, Dave? You disappeared on us. Hey, be sure while we're waiting for him to come back, be sure you go over and look at the article on the the oil shock coming to America. That's a real eye opener. I had no idea the impact that this closure of the Straits of Hormuz is having, and what impact that's going to have on us, despite all of our supposed oil and gas and things like that here in America. We've got all these supposed. This is good for America because all those tankers are now coming to America to get our oil. First of all, there's nowhere near enough oil being produced in the United States and nowhere near enough tankers to take that oil and ship it to the places it's needed, which primarily is Southeast Asia and China. And then, of course, I don't know how much urea we produce, but they produce a great deal of fertilizer in the Persian Gulf, and they ship it through the Straits, and that provides the agriculture for the Green Revolution in Southeast Asia and fertilizing corn and wheat crops and things like that. So this is going to be a very, very significant event in terms of energy, probably more so than we saw in the Iranian oil crisis of the 1970s or the Gulf War in 1990. This is going to be dramatically, according to this particular expert, going to be dramatically more of an event that'll impact us here in the United States. Now, I guess we're supposed to be getting back starting today. I believe the companies that had to pay the tariffs are now entitled to claim $190 billion, some number like that, to get that back. Dave, you're coming into the studio, I hope. There he is.
Yeah.
I'm the one that normally drops out, but now that I've got this new computer, not so much.
I doubled my memory, got a much faster processor, all that, and I'm still sometimes exceeding the capabilities of my computer. It's just that now I'm more liberal with what I'm willing to let be running, and
right.
I used to close stuff out more aggressively.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know. It's just a problem. I was going to share some pictures of the new C-Class. It's pretty sharp looking. I'm going to try one more time.
Okay.
And just see if this is a problem again. It might be, it might not. But I started sharing it while you were talking, and all of a sudden my screen just froze out, and I blocked completely.
There we go. Yeah. Interesting. You like that headlight? That is so cool.
Yeah, it's nice looking. Yeah, I mean, this is new Mercedes C-Class EVs. They were talking in the article about how it has AMG level performance.
Which is their, yeah.
Honestly, from the back, this looks like an AMG. No.
Well, maybe they use the same dyes. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure. But certainly sharp looking. Certainly sharp looking. But you're not getting a very big car for the money. But the thing, Mercedes has so many moving parts, and people always wonder why they're so expensive to maintain and they have so many things wrong. It's because they might have 2 to 3 times as many parts as like a Lexus. So you're paying for all this everything's overly engineered.
Yeah.
And you're paying for that incredible German engineering, but the C400 4MATIC electric makes 482 horsepower. 0 to 60 in about 3.9. That's not normal C-class performance. That's where the AMGs used to live. Yeah. Used to be.
Somebody ought to generate a graphic that translates that. Here's the car, and here are 460 draft horses pulling it.
There you go.
How long? What would that be? 4 or 5 mile long? Train of horses pulling this thing.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, Bill, that's all we got for today.
Hey, we've entertained folks enough. So thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah. Sorry for my issues with my computer. Oh, it's even doing more. But hell, EV World even says confirm form resubmission. Oh well, I got it crashed out, but it's not. It's on my end. Anyways, okay. All right, folks. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.